We're back at 8:30 on this Tuesday morning. It's the 11th day of September, the year 2001.
September 11th, 2001 just started as a normal day. I remember actually walking to school and looking at the sky and saying, wow, I really wish I didn't have to be in school. It's such a cloudless, beautiful, crisp day. We should all be outside.
Miles and miles of sunshine. Miles Davis. We're going to put Miles out there today. Nice as it can be across the Northeast. Rough seas still from the chop from that hurricane. But other than that, it's kind of quiet around the country. We like quiet. It's quiet. It's too quiet.
It is beautiful outside. Perfect September day with lots of sunshine. Oh, would you look at Washington, huh? I'm going outside today. This just in, you are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
The news was, the story was, a plane flew into the World Trade Center. And it just didn't register. What do you mean a plane flew into a building? That just was completely foreign.
I was on the road just coming from a business meeting, and my mother had called me and said that a plane had hit one of the towers. I assumed, I think like most people, that at the beginning it was probably just a plane malfunction.
A plane has crashed into the World Trade Center. We don't know anything more than that. We don't know if it was a commercial aircraft. We don't know if it was a private aircraft. We have no idea how many were on board or what the extent of the injuries are right now.
A headline broadcast, breaking news came through while I was doing my work, and it said that they showed an image of one of the towers, and they weren't sure if it was a large plane or a small plane or exactly what happened. And all of a sudden you see another plane coming in and just crashing into the second tower, and it was unbelievable.
It does not appear that there's any kind of an effort up there yet. Now remember, oh my God.
Oh my God.
That looks like a second plane.
One of the teachers, my colleague next door, came into the room with me to watch TV, and I said exactly these words: we just went to war.
Back in 9/11, I was still on active duty, flying T-38 aircraft out of Randolph Air Force Base, Texas. And we had just began maneuvering out in the airspace when we were recalled back to base by air traffic control. And once we got on our way back there, I had asked them why they recalled us, and all they would say was for national emergency.
As the day wore on, we found out about the planes in New York, the plane at the Pentagon, the plane in Pennsylvania that went down. It almost could have been anywhere.
The last communication that we had from my brother, he had a BlackBerry, so he was able to communicate with my mom, and he told her that, you know, they were trapped in the room, and they were, first he had said that he was okay, they were just waiting. Then the next communication was that the smoke was kind of filling in the room, and then they were trying to get to the roof because I guess the evacuation procedures, if you're above a certain floor, you were told to evacuate to the roof if there was ever a fire or something in the building. And so they tried to get to the roof, but the doors were locked and they couldn't get up there.
We were trying to call our friend to find out how this girl was doing, and we couldn't get through. And the cell phones just weren't, cell phone circuits must have been going crazy that day. Calls couldn't get through, calls were getting disconnected. We finally, later in the afternoon, got through to our friend, and as soon as she picked up the phone, she didn't say hello, she didn't say hi, all she said was, she's okay.
When we saw the towers come down, like, you still just didn't know if they were in there or not in there, and I think you kind of didn't want to believe it, you know, but you kind of knew in your mind that you probably didn't make it out, but there's that part of you that I was always hoping that he did.
Before that time, most terrorist activity was done outside of the United States, if not all. You know, in Europe, in the Middle East, there was a lot of terrorism, and so as Americans, we probably saw that on television, but were displaced from it. The attack on home soil makes you think that, well, this can happen here because it did. And so as a world, the United States and as the world, I think we've become more focused on combating that kind of terrorism.
It made people look at security issues that maybe we took for granted. The fact that people could just learn to fly planes on our own home soil and then be able to get on a plane and do what they did fairly easily. Even though I think we had seen it happen in other countries before, I think maybe we're a little naive to think that there's no way it could happen.
Growing up from the 80s to 2001, you always grew up thinking the United States was untouchable and that we were the most powerful country. Not that we aren't, but even the most powerful country can still be touched and affected. I think a lot of times, a lot of people are very naive and uneducated at how the world depicted the United States. And I think now more than ever that there's no way anyone feels that way anymore.
This is this generation's event that brought the country together, and people have a common thing to rally behind.
I think we should remember what happened. We should thank all those who came to assistance of people in need, from the firefighters, police, EMT workers, and the military, because they all put themselves in harm's way, and even civilians who came to rescue of others, they put themselves in harm's way. So I think when we remember, we should remember those individuals and thank them for the lives they did save, because they couldn't save everybody, but they did save a lot of people.